Hello, folks, and welcome back. The Demon's Souls. Oh god, there's a terrible cadence to that name. Keep clicking as if we can skip this damn intro. Japan studio. Didn't Sony close that? People were very sore about it. Apparently Sony really mistreated them towards the end. After they moved the HQ to California, they just weren't the best towards them. So the internal war goes. It'd be nice if the Demon's Souls got a re-release. I don't care about the remake. Part of me is tempted in doing a rerun of it. Well, is in doing a run of it in the future to compare and contrast. But I really don't give a shit, honestly. If FromSoft was to come out with a... obviously Sony holds it right now, but let's say FromSoft's got, got their mitts on it. If FromSoft was to come out with a remaster or something, sure, yes, I'll play it. But the one that's out by Bluepoint, no interest. Now I'm just imagining FromSoft coming out with their own version. And it's called the real, the real Demon Souls. And I lost the souls I had. I need to make less Ghostbusters jokes and more busting. This not. But, yeah, eat shit. We're just like, just two guys duking it out there. It's like the ending to my, favorite video game, Kuga. No. Okay, spoilers here. When I was watching the end of Kuga, and it's just Kuga and the other guy just duking it out in the snowfield, all I could see was Snake and Ocelot duking it out on top of Outer Heaven. It's just two guys punching the shit out of each other, and, collapsing or what have you. I can't remember how the fist fight ended in MGS4. It's been too many years. But yeah, I know, just them both, knackered, beating the shit out of each other. Just, like with other fights in Kuga, there's a gimmick to them. There's a shtick to them. They both use their magic at the start, then just start punching each other. With the boss fights in like Metal Gear Solid, there was a gimmick to them, but with Ocelot, it was just a straight up fist fight. There was some gimmick to it it was being an homage to all the different UIs from the different games, and the whatnot. Here's Metal Gear Solid 1 hit bar, Metal Gear Solid 2 hit bar. Here's Metal Gear Solid 3 hit bar with stamina and the hunger meter. And the hunger meter, and But it was just, it's straight up fist fight as far as I remember, between the two. There was no gunplay, there was no nothing. It was just a fist fight and like homages to the rest of the series. With Kuga, it was they used their magic at the start and then just punch the shit out of each other, even dropping out of their henshin forms and continuing to punch the shit out of each other before collapsing in the snow. So, yeah. My mind was just like, yeah, there's some overlap there, and it just connects the two. Probably didn't help that probably around the same time I'd seen the MMD of that fight, but they used Toho characters. It was the two goddesses from the Moiria shrine, or however you say it. Sup? Whoa! I was Lauren, how did I thought? I was so caught up in connecting the other two. It's actually funny with the conversations me and Mum have had, or I should say Mum and I. Um, we've actually, we were watching Halloween, you know, the Michael Myers movie. And we... Put away the bow, dumbass. Oh, okay, we can swing it one-handedly, but we'll do 15 damage. Damn it. Let's just leave. I've died here enough to piss me off. I dislike fighting these guys. I need to come back when I'm stronger and can just kill them. I was hoping to get some of my souls back, but I'm just gonna leave it at like near 10k I've lost here. So, oh yeah, we're watching the Halloween movies with Donald Pleasance, or Plants. I think it's Pleasance, right? But yeah, we've been watching the Halloween movies with him, and I've no real interest in seeing any of the ones without him. He's why I watched them. I really like his fucking character. I actually saw someone arguing that in, like, was it Halloween 5? You know, the one where Michael's hunting the little girl, who had some like, psychic connection to him. That Plance's character was out of character in it. I argue he wasn't. He was perfectly in character. Think of it this way. First movie, his patient breaks free. He spent years trying to cure the kid, and then years realizing, shit, he's a demon, lock him up, and no one fucking listens to him. He gets free and goes on a murder spree. He gets a fucking gun to put his own patient down, and in the end, even that isn't enough. The patient drags himself off and is fine, continues his murder spree. This is into the second movie. In the end, he detonates the room he's in, barely getting the main chick out, before detonating the room he's in, trying to kill himself with his patient. You know, Michael Myers. And even that doesn't kill him. It also doesn't kill the doctor for some reason, but it still doesn't kill Michael. Come back years later, and he's still rampaging. He's in a coma. He goes into a coma for years, comes back, and rampages again. He's barely able to try and help in this case. And then he goes on a fourth rampage. Gets the fifth movie. The third one is a separate continuity. Now there's this kid with a connection to him. He's desperate. Please, this be the final answer I need. The answer I need to finally defeat Michael. The guy is worn. He's desperate. He's gone through hell and back. While the people were being dismissive of him, and the next movie will put it in a different light, they're making a remark about him needing a therapist. Probably isn't wrong. The guy's gone through shit. He should be dead multiple times over. He's had to try and shoot his own patients to save the world from him. It's understandable that he would be testy. He will be off. And, you know, like he was shitty to the little girl. I think he put a gun on one of the cops. All of it's within character. The character of... I've completely forgotten the doctor's name. But the doctor's character is of a guy who really cares. He wants to help people desperately. Even to the point of killing himself, he wants to help people. Whatever it takes to put Michael down. He spent years trying to heal him. Years trying to lock him away and no one listened. he's a guy that cares a lot. He. I'm not sure I'm happy with this. Fuck it, we'll leave it in. Basically, yeah, he's a guy that cares a lot. And he's gone through a lot of shit. He's desperate for an answer. He's desperate to finally put an end to Michael's menace. And that pushes him to do things that he otherwise wouldn't do, but that still remains in character. It's just his desperation to finally be able to put an end to this menace pushing him there. His desperation, his care. The fact that he's willing to detonate a room with himself in it shows that he cares more about helping people than his own life. And that's even before he was pushed to that level of desperation in the 4 movies in. But yeah, me and Mom were gushing about him before, and end up connecting him and Kuga, because both are willing to sacrifice themselves for other people. And both are kind of characters you... Like, Kuga is like a big puppy, you know? He's just... you take a Labrador pup and make him into a human. That's Kuga. Pleasant's character has this grandfatherly vibe to him. And while they're both characters you cheer on, they're both characters that you have kind of an almost protective thing towards, you know? Yeah, basically, big fan of his, basically big fan of his character. Someone did, and I hope I made sense there. Huh, there's this path, I think that's a river? Yeah, that's a river, extending off into the distance. Yeah, there's a bridge there. There's a slight flow, it can be hard to see. But, yeah, basically, someone was arguing he's out of character there, but I argue he's in character. He cares dearly for people. He wants to protect the world from Michael, and things have been going wrong constantly. Shooting his own patient didn't work. Trying to have the guy sequestered didn't work. No one will take him seriously, even after the fucking rampages. No one will take him seriously, and finally he has a possible answer. Finally, he may finally be done with this nightmare. It's perfectly within character for him to act as he did. While it may not be how he acted previously, it is within character. Because he's a man pushed to the edge. He's a man that cares deeply, and he's pushed, you know, he's just been pushed so far. It does also help, the grandfatherly vibe does also help. It really does help. I was sad that he wasn't in the like movies as much. Again, I've said it before, but I'm going to keep saying it. He's why I watched the Halloween movies. I liked his character. Loomis. I liked his portrayal of Loomis. I liked his portrayal of Loomis. I don't think another actor would have the same thing. If they did a new movie with new guy as Loomis, I don't think it would be right. He just had this right vibe to him. And apparently the actor himself, if the Wikipedia entry is to be believed, really liked the role too. He was apparently asked at one point, like, how many more movies would he be willing to do it for, and yeah, another 20. Sadly, his health and whatnot declined. But yeah, apparently he liked the role. Quite liked him in it. Obviously, I spent like 10 minutes there passionately arguing that he was perfectly in character in that movie, despite acting differently to how he normally did. It's just, again, a man pushed to the edge, desperation to finally be done with this nightmare, while wearing the wounds of all the previous things he had to do to try and finally end it. Roaming the streets, trying to hunt down his own patient with a gun, detonating a fucking hospital room to finally kill him after his rampage continued, and still the guy pulling through. And no, people still not taking him seriously and locking him up. So, you know. Fuck you. Come on, meatbag. Let's dance. Not sure if there's much to killing these people. I didn't mean to heal, I wanted to shoot. 80 damage. Not bad. How much damage does it do to these people? And headshots do matter. Remember when I was playing Mafia as a kid, I do it. Nice. Bit of a waste though. When I was playing Mafia as a kid, I didn't know about headshots. Made the game a lot harder. Remember having such difficulty in the prison. That's back. Thought I saw a lizard on the walls there. No, all I can hear is that song. If you pull my lizard, I'll pull my snake on you. I'm a romantic adventure and a rock star too. Makes no difference. It'll never be easy. Time I'll be easy is when I'm killed by death. They could pay for like 2 arrows apiece. Sadly, they require 3 to kill. So I'm operating this at a loss. God, I must suck for ranged characters. Oh, and of course, the easier guy to kill only pays for 1 arrow and some change. Nice. Come on then. Also, the version of the song I heard, "Killed by Death," I was hearing there, "Killed by Death," is not the original version by Motorhead, but it's Beast in Black's cover. I'm quite a fan of Beast in Black. If you don't know who they are, go look them up. They are a metal band that does a lot, but not solely, of songs based around Berserk. It's quite the band. Quite like them. Would metal be the right genre? I want to say it is, but now I'm paranoid. I'm terrible at describing things because I start second guessing myself and getting paranoid. Like, is that right? Is that wrong? Is that right? Is that wrong? I am dying. We'll on the lower tier grasses now. Piece of shit. But, yeah, there's hounds. So, yeah. Okay, they're there. I don't need to worry about them. So, yeah, they're, as far, well, we'll go with it. They're a metal band that does a lot of songs based around Berserk. But they do other songs as well. They recently had an album about sci-fi dystopia. The singer has an amazing range. There's two songs there with Whispers in the Rain or Ghost in the Rain or something, and then I can't remember the other song. It's on it's on like a later album. But basically, in both songs, especially the latter one, whose name I can't remember, it sounds like a duet. Spoilers, spoilers. It is not a duet. It's the same guy doing both voices. Apparently, it wasn't intended to trick anyone. It was just he heard another singer doing it. It's like, oh, that sounds good. I wanted to do it himself. But he has an amazing range where it honestly sounds like a dude and a chick doing a duet, but it's the one guy. He's got a great voice, and he changes like his look in some of the later albums, and he just ends up looking a bit like the guy from Command and Conquer Kane. He's a bit off, obviously, but with the shaved head and whatnot, I want to say he did kind of look like Kane, and it's not just me; others were saying it as well. I can sometimes see like, oh, it reminds me of so and so, but that's because they both have skin, or they both have two eyes. So it's not just me saying it. I think others have seen similarities too. Honestly, anytime I think of Tachibana from Kamen Rider, I always feel like a madman because Tachibana, I don't know what it was about him, but fuck you, fuck you. Tachibana made me think of Bruce Campbell for some reason. Something about him, in his expressions, in his mannerisms, made me think of Bruce Campbell. I keep forgetting not to roll since I'm in this. Another dog somewhere. I think it fell down. Oh, there's a ramp just there. But yeah, for whatever reason, Tachibana made me in Kamen Rider made me think of. Oh, that's just Dead Lizard. Okay, made me think of Bruce Campbell. Something about his how he held himself, some of his expressions, just made me think of Bruce Campbell. Like, if you look at the second episode of Kamen Rider, Hongo is being chased by a girl. She accuses him of killing her father. In reality, he was trying to save her father, who had just been murdered by the first monster of the week, Spider-Man. Yeah, literally, there's a humanoid spider called Spider-Man, and that's like the first enemy Hongo fights. And because that's the first enemy Hongo fights, a lot of Kamen Rider series start with a spider enemy, and next one he fights is a Batman. So yeah. But anyway, she accuses Hongo of killing her father, and she's like stalking him through the streets, um, like looking for dirt on him or something. I can't remember her exact goal in that moment, but she's stalking him through the streets. He ends up ducking into the cafe of Tachibana, and then climbs out through the window and loses her. She sneaks in after him, and it's like, haha! And it's just Tachibana sitting in his chair smoking a pipe, looking at a newspaper. And what she says, like, he's the man that killed my father, and he's like, oh. And like, whatever face he pulls, all I saw was Bruce Campbell, for some reason. There's just some energy to him. I'm not saying that they look alike or anything, but there's some energy, maybe an expression, there's some vibe to him that matches with him. Keep in mind one thing. My touchstone with Bruce Campbell is Burn Notice. Not Evil Dead. Burn Notice. I watched a lot of that. I watched the whole thing. He was the standout part of it. To be honest, most of the guys in it were the standout part of it. The women, the mother was fine, but the women in Burn Notice were a weak element of it. The final chick, Sam Axe, Bruce Campbell's character gets with, is fine. But a lot of the women in it were violent, shitty people with few redeeming aspects. Like, certainly, main guy was a spy for the US government. Yeah. Given the career, probably has, probably destabilized a few regions. You know. Who knows what he's gotten up to off camera. But he's still likable. Like, there's Fiona, for example. She's apparently an IRA bomber. An IRA member with explosives experience. But she's a violent, glass-jawed bitch. She beats and shoots her own comrades. It was a beanbag round, but it still stung like a bastard. She shoots Sam with it, and then when he's like, "Oh, watch your aim," she's like, "Get over it." She punches people just like, "I'm feeling bad." Punch, punch, punch in the face. But once Michael hits her because she's about to release the actual criminal behind killings, because the criminal was playing her like a fool, and Michael has to play a role of, "I'm a prick," and is like, "Oh, woman, you're pissing me off." Punches her, and then he immediately apologizes once they get the other one back in her handcuffs and back in her room. He immediately apologizes to Fiona profusely. The music goes dour, and she's like, "Oh, you piece of shit," and then proceeds to go flee the country later that episode. She claims it's because, "I can't watch you do this to yourself," but she freaked out when she punches them because the wind blew in a particular direction that moment. She's literally shot them, and she gets hit once because she's about to do something really stupid, and he apologizes, which he never does. And yeah, I've always brought her up and how much I've hated her. And I never won't. She is literally the weakest part of the show. If they made a cutting her out of the show and made it like cohesive, that will be the master cut of the show. That will be the master fucking cut of the show. She has no redeeming aspects. She cares for Michael, but then will beat him around the place when the mood takes her. She may care for her friends, but then she'll shoot them and tell them to fuck off when they say, "Oi, what's your aim?" They'd ever do anything to her, she'll go to flee the fucking country. Again, she claimed it was because Michael was tearing himself apart, but as far as I remember, it was the same episode where she spazzed out because he hit her once. And for once, unlike when she hits them, it was for a justifiable reason, and he apologized. So yeah, the other characters may be flawed, but they're likable. They never made her likable. They wanted a strong, badass character and never thought, is she likable? Is she actually someone we'd want to actually watch? No. She was the weakest fucking part of the show. If you can watch around her, like, it's a fine show. She's just the main female character, so she's in a lot of episodes. Just not all, she's isn't obnoxious in all the episodes she's in. Sometimes she's actually tolerable. She is just still the weakest part. It's kind of like FMA, really. Most of the women in that are the weakest part of it. Hawkeye and the grandmother of Winry are grand. I love the grandmother. She's a hard old broad who isn't a piece of shit. Spoilers here for FMA. Basically, the grandmother has to go clean up after Ed and Al at one point. It happens all off screen, but the old lady took out something terrible, and she dealt with it and buried it, and it happens all off screen. A horrific thing she walked in on, and she handled it well. You don't see it, obviously, but like I'm saying, it happened off screen, but I know, she's just a hard broad from the little you see of her. I wish she was in it more. Hawkeye was likable enough, and she participated in a fucking genocide. Attempted genocide. The female Armstrong general, piece of shit. People hype up like, oh, strong female character. She wins one fight in the entire game, and that in the entire show, and that was against a man 30, 40 years her senior, who was unarmed, may never have seen a fight, wasn't expecting her to attack him as they were meant to be on the same side, while she was armed. So she not only attacked basically a guy who's an OAP, who was unarmed, he may not have been a fighter, while she had a sword. And she also ambushed him, because he thought she was on his side. He went for a push. I need to get this off. So, yeah. She won one fight in the entire show. If you want to count her fight with her brother, that's another part of FMA that I hate. I know, it always comes off mean-spirited. It's har, this woman's beating up a guy. It's especially bad in Winry's case, because it's just like, oh, Ed and Winry like each other, and here she is punching him in the face. Isn't it funny? It always comes off as so mean-spirited. I dislike it. If I wanted to see that, I'd watch Love Heya. But yeah, I just hate that cliche. It just does not do it for me. FMA is a fantastic show outside of that. But yeah, the female Armstrong general is just a piece of shit. She has no redeeming aspects to her. She's a violent piece of shit. Oh yeah, she beats the shit out of her brother, but it's another har scene. The next fight they get into, she's immediately taken out and is rendered worthless for the rest of the show, while her brother gets his arm dislocated, and then relocated by the guy whose fist can shatter stone. The guy's tunneling through the earth, and the brother has him relocate his arm through punching it back into position. That's fucking awesome. And it's proof that in an actual fight, he would have won against his sister. If it wasn't a hardy moment of like, a woman beating up a man, he would have won. I've also noticed one thing that I've seen people online criticizing oh, this, this thing's bad in anime, it shouldn't be done. And some of them are obviously just tourists wanting to change things. But then I swear some people are so caught up in being anti-that that they've moved that you can't criticize anything in anime whatsoever. That anime is beyond criticism. It's pretty fucking retarded. Heal up. Don't want to spend that on that, but I have no choice. God, even them running at you is an attack. I hate the hounds. I can only hope they are a minor part in all this. But, yeah, I swear some people have gotten so caught up in the idea of, being anti-tourist and them trying to change things because of their own ideological intents or whatnot, that they've gotten to the point where they think that any critique is just a tourist thing. 2 shards of sharpstone, 2 shards of sharpstone, 1 large sharpstone shard, and 2 clear stone. Very nice. So yeah, I feel like that's how some people have gotten, I'm kind of expecting to get those responses here. But yeah, like most of it, the grandma was a cool old broad. While you don't see much of her, just the bits you see and what's implied about her makes her seem like a cool, hard old lady, And the Hawkeye, she was cool. She was likable. She wasn't a cunt, Winry was. The female Armstrong general was. And people harping on about her being a strong character. Yeah, she loses every fight she's in. Except the one fight she picked against a guy 30, 40 years her senior, who was unarmed, thought she was his ally, and may have never even seen a day of combat. He was a high-ranking military official, but he could have just, there's ways to get to high rank without actually seeing combat. We don't know his service record. So, that's, as far as I know, as far as I remember, that's the one fight she wins. And I don't really see strength from her, just belligerence. Like, oh, I'm a shitbag. Aren't I so strong? It's just girl boss behavior, Much like Fiona, I have very strong opinions on this. I'll stop now. I'll try. Okay, close the trapdoor there. Somehow I don't think that's a relevant part to me, though. Oh, is the fiery water stopping now? Well, less the fire water is stopping, more fires have been put out. Excellent. But where does this lead to? Oh, no enemies here. For a moment, I thought I saw 2 guys with torches. Oh, we're here now. We've looped right back around. I have to say, I do like the level design. Just everything interconnecting like this is quite nice. It's like, cool, It's nice to see. Alright, Sharpstone Shard. What I'm thinking is, if I have to do a 3rd run of this, even if it's just a partial run, I'll complete it. And what I'm going to do is, this is going to be a good run, just natural good run. Next is going to be a bad run by a guide. Next is going to be a good run by a guide. That way, I 100% the game. And can just do my own thing without being, too influenced. Do I try and have a rawish experience? Ooh, Ring of Poison Resist. Like, I've read wikis before and shit, but that's a long time ago. I don't remember the details. And I was just reading, rando pages. Not, cohesive guides. Excuse me. Anyone ever remember getting, what there was a games master, and like the little like cheat books they would get in it. I remember reading those for so many games that I never bought. It was so interesting to read them. I used to love them as a kid. They had a nice style of writing to it, so it was fun to read. Hey, Tubbs. Stop stroking yourself, you fat bastard. I wonder if I can, homeward bone myself out of fights. I have, no, that causes me to lose shit. And these are just, yeah, those. The co-op items, which are completely irrelevant to me. Servers are long since taken down. I would have to be very careful of swinging this sword if it was fire enchanted. I would detonate barrels on myself. Spider. Oh, howdy. I also, don't get my rant wrong. Like I said, I do actually quite like FMA. It's a fantastic, well done series. It's just I find those characters obnoxious. That archetype of just violent prick with few redeeming characteristics, just to be detestable. It doesn't do it for me. If a character can be a smug asshole, but they need to be somewhat likable. They have to be likable in some way. They like I I can't quite back this up, but I imagine you can do probably any character archetype, but if you put them in a slightly likable light, like give them a few likable characteristics, some time to show it off while still showing off the bad side, you can at least have. Basically, you can have a character with a shitty side to them, even a predominantly shitty side, but if you play them in the right way, they can still come off as likable. I found nothing likable to those characters. If there was likable aspects to them, it was just ended up overshadowed by the shitty side. It just didn't feel enough. That or that side just bothers me too much. One or the other. Yeah. But yeah, basically, I like the show. I just hate that archetype. Really hate that archetype. So. Hearing things. My hearing's oversensitive to the point it starts imagining noises. I think that's how it works. I actually do have very sensitive hearing. Insanely fucking sensitive. It's actually quite frustrating. It's hard for me to be around other people safe for eating and whatnot. I think I'm reaching a dead end here. Crisp blade. A small ceremonial sword, old runes are expertly carved into the blade, used as an aid for incantations. With its magic ability increases, though he or she will suffer more magic damage. So I could use it to... not too much more. I'm not seeing my magic defense in that list. Magic offense in that list. But yeah, so... it's an 8. So if I put that on with my other thing when I'm grinding, I could... From the height, I could see the water there, and it looked like a staircase down. It almost looked like it was all across the floor. I was like, what? But, so use the sword with the other thing, and I would do bonus damage with my spells. Don't mind if I do. Increase speed mobile. Not surprising. From soft game release, nice enough not to throw a attack on me while I'm already on the lift. Or while I'm on the lift. Any other time, open season. Chunk of spider stone. That's how you get poison weapons. There's an achievement for making a max enhancement version for every type of material. There's also an achievement for getting every single okay. The levers on both sides are just to call the thing down to you. But yeah, there's an achievement for getting all the boss weapons, all miracles, all spells, and I plan on doing it all. I plan on 100%ing this game. It's been a long time coming. I've wanted to play it for years before I did Dark Souls 1. Years and years and years. Ever since I've learned that it existed, I've wanted to play it. I wrote it off for a long time, but I'm finally doing it. It's like a dream come true. So, Freya, Duke's favorite. Whoa, poppin'. Armor spider. Piece of shit spider. Ooh. Oh. You are nasty. And you look pretty fucked up too. I think I'll prefer to fight Duke's dear Freya. I have to go all the way back here. I suppose it's not too far to get back to it. I have no idea how I'm meant to beat it. I might arrange it the whole way. Wouldn't have near enough mana for that. I don't fancy fiddling too much with this boss fight. Oh, and I'm gonna comment on one other thing, because I'm feeling in a comedy sort of mood. I don't know what's with me today, or this moment. One second, this head's off. Damn, those guys are turned on so loud I can still occasionally hear them. Some guy on Twitter. I've never heard of him before. Never heard of him before. Never seen him before. I think it's a YouTube channel. But he made a big deal about that. Like, oh, lolly exists, and you never know if you'll be looking at something and it turned out to be lolly. Specified hentai. But then, like, he's like, you know, like, since lolly exists, I can't like anime anymore. It's disgusting, and he makes a big show of throwing his stuff out. I can't tell if it's just for a stupid joke, but if he's sincere, that's seriously pathetic. Yeah, well, he's weird, but who gives a shit? It's just drawing shit, and as long as you don't use an actual kid as a base for it, who gives a fuck? You know, it's just a drawn thing, you know?